Hello, my name is Lacey. I'm the Chief Teaching Unicorn at Rebel Unicorn Crafts. I teach classes locally in Northern Colorado, and then I make resource videos here on YouTube for my students as well as others deep diving into their creative journey. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I've been doing a deep dive into fluid painting variables. I've primarily been focusing on different types of paint, thinning agents, silicone versus not silicone, that type of thing. But this week I want to actually test two different pouring styles to see what results we get when you use two different methods using the same paint. I've been primarily using a dirty cup as my testing medium, but this week I'm going to test the dirty cup versus an open cup pour. So the first thing that we need to do is make sure that these are very level. The open cup pour requires a very level surface. So I'm using an MDF surface, which is a hard board, so that it's not going to sag, and then I'm actually using a little bit of a blue tack to raise mine up as well as allow me to level these further. So let's get these leveled, and then let's get to pouring. We'll be testing the open cup on the left side, so what I've done is I've taken a plastic cup and I've cut it halfway down so that the nice flat rim sits downward and the open area is upward, and then we'll have a dirty cup on the right, which you're familiar with. We treat the open cup pour in a very similar way to the dirty cup, so we pour just directly into that open area, but the goal is that it's actually going to ooze out the bottom instead of us waiting to flip over that cup. So we'll go ahead and we'll finish this pouring and see what happens. One thing I'd like to mention is that I'm not sure I have my paint thicknesses quite right here, so these might not turn out quite how I anticipated them to, but I did have somebody leave me a comment and send me an email from Sergeant Art about the proper hydration levels, and I plan on doing a deep dive into that in the future. The last few times I've done one of these open cups, the paint starts to seep out much quicker from the bottom, but at this point it finally started to flow, and I wanted to try to keep it centered because it came out one side a little bit more, and so I tried to mess with that. I don't know if that actually helped though. Another thing, I do wish I'd done these independently, so I had done just the open cup and then just the dirty cup, and then completed each separately using the same paint, but I was worried about making sure I had enough of each paint, so I tried to do them at the same time, and I'm not sure how that affected these results. Here's where the big difference shows in this open cup versus dirty cup. When I remove the open cup, there's not going to be a lot of movement on the paint. The surface tension has already released underneath it, and so it pretty much stays the same as it looked within the open cup. Whereas when we do pull the dirty cup up, there's going to be a big difference. The paint will gush out and move around. So I'm going to speed up this part where we're going to actually move the paint around, and I'll give you my final thoughts. In previous tries of using this open cup method, I actually got some big bubble cells that kind of came from the lip, and I didn't really get that this time, but I did kind of like this weird blob thing that really maintained the stripes of the colors that I poured in, so that was really interesting. I also think that I used too much black or didn't take advantage of negative space, so I should have maybe pre-painted some areas of this black so that it kind of stopped the flow in certain areas instead of just kind of muddying all around it. But it was a really interesting test. You'll be able to see in the dried photos of this painting that the dirty cup on the right actually did have a lot more pigment. It was just harder to see. Here's a little close-up while I torch these. The colors are really vibrant. I did use those Sargent Art paints in this one. And even though this one looks muddy from above, do you see how bright the colors that are popping through are? Especially up here. Here they are dry. And then my two favorite parts of each painting. I love this blob thing, and I loved this area of the dirty cup. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you're local to Northern Colorado and would like to take a class, visit rebelunicorncrafts.com to see my class listings. If you'd just like to see what I'm up to, visit my Instagram at rebelunicorncrafts, or if you'd like to see my art, you can visit my other Instagram at LACEY Walker Art. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a magically creative day.